Welcome, everyone, to Music Junkies, a podcast about people sharing extraordinary stories about how music has impacted their lives.
Welcome to Music Junkies, right? I'm excited. We have the crew from Heavy Metal Horror. We got Dreadbull, right? Only way you know he is. Hot guy, glasses, Wildcard. Jeez.
Did you say hot guy?
She did.
Changing my name to Hot Guy.
Oh,
Hot
Annette,
guy
I
with
think
the
you need
glasses.
glasses. I'm so
I wonder if her
sorry.
bacon is okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, Dreadbull, she's Canadian. She's just being nice.
I don't care. Whatever.
That's
lie to
right,
my
he'll
face.
take it.
That's like
He'll
the
take
nicest
it.
thing he's heard in like 40 years. God knows he's not going to get it from us.
Oh, whew, it's getting
Right?
warm in here.
Wildcard has. Look at this guy. You remind me of the '80s so much, and I'm probably gonna
Yes.
be so attracted to you because of that, right? Long curly hair, I love it. And then chop top wearing the hat, right? Always backwards hat. And then, geez, if you guys could have seen Montag when he came in, he looked like Santa beat him up a little bit. His hair was like all over the place.
Yeah, my devil hair. That was just all over the
So
place.
welcome, you guys.
I
for
did
the-
that on purpose just for you.
Well, I'm glad you guys are here and a part of the show. It's going to be fun. I love it. I love it. Is this your guys' first time having a fivesome though, together?
I think we've had on our own show, we've all been on and had multiple guests. So
Yes, if that's what you mean by fivesome, yes.
Yeah.
We've had plenty. We've had so many.
Turning
I
the
love
real
your guys'
sausage fest already.
playlist. It's all over the place, right? So what
Awesome.
was some of your experiencing putting the playlist together? Like tell me a little bit about your experience putting your playlist together.
Are you talking about our four songs we had to choose?
Yeah. So it's
Okay.
hard to like pick that many, right?
Right. It was just things that basically had personal meaning to me, such as song "Simple Man" by Skinner. Honestly, that's biographical of me and my mom. Period. She passed in 2009, so it holds a lot of meaning to me.
I love it.
"Evil That Men Do" is it's just always been maybe in my top 3, maybe top 2 Maiden songs of all time. So it's just one that immediately I go to whenever I'm thinking about Iron Maiden or playing some Maiden. "House of Broken
Don't
Love."
tell us all them because then I'm gonna have
Yeah,
to.
don't blow your
speak
wad
and then-
now, Chop Top.
All right,
He's
all right.
usually
Carried
like
away.
Together.
Yeah, he gets excited.
Slow down.
I do. I
No.
do.
Steve,
Hold
you
on.
went from
Start talking
first
about
Bring some
base to,
Kleenex.
like,
You know, I'm gonna
third
blow a
base
load,
in an
so.
instant. Right? That
Put
was
it back
Yeah.
in your pants.
Yeah, take the Kleenex out of your pocket, Chop Top.
ooh,
All right. Sorry about
I
that.
love
Matt. Go ahead.
So we're obviously going to do something a little bit different because there's, I have never had this many guys before, so I got to kind of maneuver you guys.
We've heard differently.
Some of you might get more attention than others. It depends how you perform.
As we should.
Right?
Yeah.
If you're performing well, you're going to get more attention. Right? And Dreadbull was last, so.
Yeah, sucks to be you,
Yeah,
Dreadbull.
Yeah. Sorry
That's
about
how
your
he
luck,
is with
buddy.
among all of us. We brought him along like, we should just Dreadbull. Yeah, I don't know.
You don't want
he's
to hurt his feelings.
Yeah, he's like
you know how
he's like our
sensitive.
he's like our pity prom date.
Yeah,
You know?
I'm very sensitive.
So we're going to start with Wildcard's first song. Are you ready, Wildcard?
yeah.
Okay.
I got it. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I didn't know how this was going down.
Just going to play this song so you can hear it, and then you can kind of let me know the memory. So Crystal Ann, obviously you have that song on your playlist. What does that song mean to you? Does it bring back a certain memory for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a massive Annihilator fan. And the band stuck out to me. This song in particular was one of my first experiences with the band. And, most heavy metal guys that's not a song that they would be drawn to, a neoclassical piece, done on nylon strings. And I've always been drawn to it. I played that at my wedding. I think that I might have walked down to it. And I don't know. It always struck a chord with me. I love pieces like that, melodic pieces. And, like I said, it struck a chord with me enough to play it at my wedding. So it's always been a song that I come back to. It's haunting, and it draws you in. The piece overall, if you listen to the whole thing, it's going to draw you in. And I mean, and then it goes into Alice in Hell. So I mean, then you're kicked in the nuts by just an awesome song right out of the gate. Jeff Waters is a phenomenon. So again, that song's always held a lot of weight with me, just in terms of the melody of it.
Yeah, it's a great song. I love it. I love your guys' playlist. It's so cool. I've been doing this since August, and it's so rare that I've had anybody with any heavy metal, right? And I would have thought like so much heavy metal would be on people's playlists, but it isn't. So I'm so excited to kind of go through this because it just brings me back to those days. And a lot of these songs I haven't heard for a long time too, right?
You finally got to the right group of guys in that.
Got to the right group of guys, right? So Wildcard, you played in some bands, right?
Correct. Yes.
So singer, guitar player, bass, what's your instrument of choice?
I play guitar, and the biggest thing for me is composition. I really enjoy creating music, but I'm vocalist, out of necessity in most of the projects that I'm in, just because it's difficult to rope in lots of people. So the less people you have to deal with, the better. So in most of the groups that I'm in, it just becomes a necessity thing. Someone's got to do it. I have experience with it, so I might as well do it. I'm writing the lyrics, so might as well just take that, that particular aspect of creation on as well. Not that I haven't tried to rope in other people to do vocals for me. It's hard and it's tricky, and it's just easier to have to deal with one less person.
Yeah. What was the first name of your first band you were ever in?
The first band I was ever in was named Leaf. I know, real creative. High school rock band.
Erickson, like Leaf Erickson?
No, it was just Leaf. And we had
Leaf
cool
Garrett?
songs. We had songs about Mega Man and prom night, but the night was like a night, not like nighttime.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
High school
Plants
rock,
a
baby.
lot at the prom.
Yeah, man. I was super creative in high school.
What happened?
Yeah, I don't know. Too many beers, I guess.
Should have
Were
called
you
your band.
a heavy metal junkie in high school?
And I mean, like, yeah, I wouldn't say that I was as into it and as well versed as I am now. It was a lot, but it was rock and roll, and it was heavy metal. It was stuff from the 80s. I expanded on that greatly, in my 20s, and so that's always been a staple for me. My parents were into that stuff. My dad played that stuff, so it's kind of a family obsession.
Who's your favorite 80s rock frontman?
Oh, geez, rock. So rock frontman, that's different. Says you're taking the metal away, so I got to think of a rock and roll
Well,
frontman.
you can throw
Alice
some
Cooper,
metal in
probably
there.
Alice Cooper. I know Alice Cooper's not, he's from the 70s, but I don't know, man. He still is the same guy today that he was in the 80s, that he was in the 70s. He's a phenomenal performer. And not to say that he's like super energetic or anything like that. He just has a way about him. His shows are fantastic. And he's probably one of my favorite rock frontmen from that era. Because I love the 80s Alice Cooper stuff. I mean, I like the 70s stuff, but I love the 80s stuff. So I think that I would probably pick that. I'm not real good with like top 10 stuff. I have to like sit and really think about it. But right off the top of my mind, that one kind of sticks out to me because it's not Vince Neil.
What? Oh my God.
Oh, look, I love Motley Crue, man, but Vince Neil he's a funny guy.
Right. Vince Neil back then would be good. Vince Neil right now.
yeah. Don Dokken back then would be good.
Like, and I was even
Don Dokken
thinking,
right now.
if I met him at a bar, because I was pretty obsessed with Vince Neil growing up, and I'm like, no. I should have stayed with my girlfriend who like loved Nikki Sixx, and Nikki Sixx aged well. Vince Neil kind of like ate himself, and then the rest of the band. So
then forgot a lot of stuff, like words.
Yeah.
Dreadbull, you're up, my friend. This song is yours.
Wait a minute. Oh, we're going that one. Okay.
We're going that one.
I thought we were starting with the Maiden one.
Yeah, well, you
No.
thought wrong.
Yeah,
You'll
I
start
control
wherever
that
she wants
fucking
to
show.
start. You were late.
I'll-
Okay.
it's all-
Okay. We're going this then. Okay, Sabotage, Hall of the Mountain King. So this takes me back. For me, yeah, this is a nostalgia pick right here. This was during the Z-Rock era of my youth, of high school. You know, prior to about, I think Z-Rock came around in 86, 87.
Mhm.
There was nothing locally in the Cleveland area where you could really listen to metal. You know, there didn't exist. WMMS was a rock station. You know, they would maybe sprinkle in some, you know, the more palatable kind of metal, but it was hard to find new bands. You know, it was word of mouth, or you'd go to the record store and find cool album covers and give it a try. You know, maybe like Metal Edge magazine or Rip or something. You could get exposed. So there wasn't much until Z-Rock came along. That changed everything. So yeah, this song, sitting in my room, middle of winter, late at night, I was sitting in front of my stereo with a blank cassette in the cassette deck, just waiting for new songs to come on. Hit record, you know, and the opening riff of Hall of the Mountain King came up, and yeah, that's instant record. Like, what the hell is this? I'd never heard them before. And it was such a big sound, that big, rich, you know, the sound was just monstrous, and that opening riff just like instantly grabbed me. And yeah, from there I'm checking out everything I can get my hands on with Sabotage, and to this day, you know, every time I hear that song, I'm taken back to, you know, 15-year-old me sitting in my room in front of my stereo recording songs off Z-Rock. So
I love it.
Yeah.
I miss those days where you had to, you know, you had your tape deck and you were waiting for the song to come on the radio, and you're like, fuck, you want the DJ to stop talking because he's like speaking right in the very beginning of the song, and that's the part that you really, really want. And you're like, oh God, why did he have to say anything? I miss those days.
So then you got his voice on your copy of that song forever, talking over the first 10 seconds. Yeah.
You can't unhear his voice after that.
Right.
No, you
Hey,
can't.
Z-Rock coming right at you with some wild sabotage.
Dreadbull, what were you like in high school? What kind of guy were you in high school?
Pretty geeky, pretty quiet. You know,
Pretty lame.
whatever the opposite of a chick magnet would be. That was me.
He had a mullet though.
You
Mullet.
had a mullet?
I like to wear
Rocking the mullet.
flannel, you know.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did you
Yeah,
wear a
what
heavy
was-
metal shirt all the time? What was your go-to heavy metal shirt?
Well, that's probably had to be Maiden back in the day. You know, everybody had Maiden shirts on, all the metalheads. Where everybody was wearing Maiden or Metallica, I think. So yeah, probably Maiden.
You guys ever date the same girl?
We didn't go to the same school,
Oh,
actually.
you didn't.
Well, I think that
No.
you and I did, but 10, 15 years difference there or something like that. You graduated from Firelands, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah,
88.
see, yeah, 2001. So yeah, a little bit of time in between
Wow.
us. But Tractor
Oh.
Day was still a thing. So
Nice.
That never
They
changed.
kept the tradition going.
yeah, they kept
Beautiful.
Tractor Day.
Right, Chop Top, this is your song. I know you talked a little bit about it, but we're going to go deeper into your story. So Simple Man, Leonard Skinnerd. I know you spoke a little bit about your mom. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, it just lyrically, you know, it's always spoken to me because it's pretty much it's a prime example of how my mom and my relationship was. It's pretty autobiographical, actually. I mean, lyrics to a T. So, and it just moves me. I mean, just the melody, the chorus. It's just a beautiful song altogether, written song. So, yeah, one of my all-time favorite classic rock songs. But it has obviously that deeper meaning to me.
Yeah. Did you ever listen it with your mom or?
Yeah, we always had, growing up, mom and dad always had music playing throughout the house. I mean, they had the old, you know, huge old turntable, you know, was inside and put all the vinyl in there and stuff.
Yeah.
I had
Yeah.
one of those.
The console, yes.
Yeah,
I-
Nice.
yeah. So they had, there was constantly Bob Seger, there was Billy Squire, there was Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, there was Skinner, there was, you name it. And we always had music going, and that's gave my, obviously the love that I have for music comes from a very early age. I think the first album I got when I was like probably, gosh, 6 or 7, it was Love Gun by Kiss on vinyl.
No way.
They got me a little red record player, and I remember had the cardboard gun inside the vinyl where it says bang, you go like that. And I just thought it was the greatest. And I was a Kiss fan, even before that. But when I got that set me on top of the world. So that was my first vinyl I ever had.
I love it. What's one thing that you learned from your mom?
I guess for me, it's she had such a big heart. She would do anything for anybody, and I like to think that the part of me that came to me as well. And if I can do it, especially for my children, my grandchildren, I sure as hell will do it. So, and I like to think and plus for friends, if I have that, if I can do something for them, I'll do it. So I'd like to think that's a part of her that really came into me as well.
I love it. Is he the most sensitive one, you guys, in the group?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
he's
cries
kind of a
all the
jerk.
time.
It's hard, shameful crying, but it just only prompts us on to do more to make him cry. So
Except when I'm roasting Vic, then I'm the hate hole. So
that's right. Yeah.
Lots of hate.
So where did you guys' nicknames come from? Who wants to go first?
Well, I think we need to talk about Dreadbull's original name here.
Oh, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
You
Go
wanna
ahead,
share
Bert.
what-
Tell me
Origin
about it.
story.
Well, we were doing a lot of online gaming during the pandemic, and we were playing some games from who was it? The
Jackbox games.
Jackbox
like this
games,
one?
and there's
yeah,
one
I
called
love
Quip.
those.
Yeah, there's one called
Yeah.
Quiplash. It's kind of like
Yeah.
Cards Against Humanity. And there's another one that was like a dictionary game where you invent words that mean things. And the word that we came about was the word slunk, which was another word for jizz. And then I think Dreadbull came up with the next time we kept on playing, he acquired the slunk name and went by Slunk Meister. And that's what his new nickname was for probably the next, I don't know, year of playing. And that was his original name for heavy metal horror until he was given a new name by our dear departed friend Eric Wagner, who called him the Slutmeister.
He misheard.
Yeah,
Slutmeister is like
Slutmeister.
a
Yeah,
slut.
yeah. Mark's the slut.
Fucking
Mark's
slut.
the fucking slut.
That's a
We're
good
like,
impression
yes,
because that's exactly what
yes.
he sounded like.
He's the fucking slut. And then, but it got to a point where when we were having guests on our show, people were asking, Slunkmeister, what the hell does that mean? And, he was.
Of course,
getting more and
Montag
more
would always say, "That means jizz."
That's right.
So I'm like, I can't do this forever, man. I can't do
yeah. Then he went by like Breadbasket and a couple other
Wow.
things. I'm like,
That's a big
Breadbasket.
jump. That's a big jump.
Then Dreadbull, he says, "No, this is my online gaming name." I'm like, "Oh, it's not nearly as good as Slunkmeister, but." So
The rest of you, Chop Top, where'd you get your name from?
Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. He's Chop Top in there, Yeah, did you get the bitch, Bubba? Did you get the bitch? That was yeah. He's just one of my favorite horror characters, and Bill Moseley is just fantastic. Just a lot of the roles that he does. So yeah, I'm definitely a huge TCM2 fan, as we all are. So
yes.
What about you, Wildcard? Where'd you get your name from?
These guys would be like sitting down doing these shows, and they'd have listened to like everything that they were going to discuss for like an entire week, and I would come in real unprepared, and you really you didn't know what I was going to say or when I was going to chime in. So I pulled it from one of my favorite episodes of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where Charlie Day is the wild card, and he doesn't do anything the entire episode until at the very end when they're driving home. They go to hit the brakes, and he says, "I cut the brakes, wild card, bitches!" And he kicks the door open in the back and jumps out of the van. That's his whole. And I always loved that. And I said, "Yeah, I guess if I've got to pick a username or something, that's what it's going to be, because you really don't know what I'm going to say." I've said some stuff that I'm not sure made it in episodes and whatnot. Yeah,
Oh, I keep it all.
yeah. So I'm just I'm a loose cannon. So I mean, not real crazy bad, but still. Don't really know where I'm going to come from, so I'm the wild card.
Yeah, never shows up prepared for the episodes or follows the assignments. You know, we appreciate him. We love him. So
That's right.
All
We
right,
love it.
Montag, it's you. You're up, my friend. Geez, such a good song, Kiss, Detroit Rock
It is.
City.
It is. It's a
Yeah.
great song. I do that to rub Dreadbull's face on it because he's not a Kiss fan. No, you know,
You
Kiss.
slap your belly at him?
yeah. We've got some good stories about Kiss to talk about. Kiss was the first band I remember like being enamored with. Like in 5th grade, during the wintertime when it was too cold to go outside, like after lunch, we would like meet in our homeroom and like listen to music or something like that. And some kids were bringing in records, and I was just listening to whatever was on the local Cleveland G98 station, you know, just like soft pop rock, hard rock, you know. I know, right? Yeah, because MMS was, you know, and so then when I heard this Kiss, someone brought in the Kiss Destroyer album, and I heard that song. I'm like, oh my God, what is this music? I'd never heard anything like it. And then I saw the album cover. I'm like, oh fuck yes, this is something happened. I think I went through puberty that day, and like and fell in love. Yeah, with whole Kiss, the image, you know, the
Yeah.
Gene Simmons in particular, with the dragon boots, the armor, spitting blood.
The
It was
slunk flowed like rain that day.
like, yes, my 10-year-old self, like, I feel funny down there.
Well,
I loved every minute of it.
speaking of Gene Simmons, so if you could have his tongue for one day, whose pussy would you want?
Oh, he tried. Believe me, his tongue was hanging out for about 8 straight years.
Yeah, I would actually, when I was in college,
tongue exercises.
I would
think he tried
stretch
to
out.
stretch it. See,
I would stretch out my tongue. Seriously, I did, and it got longer during the course
How
of
did
the
you do
semester.
that? You're just like pulling
It
on it?
got longer.
it got longer.
I did. I was just stretching it, like, and doing my exercises, and
Oh, is that like Kegeling? Like what?
What kind of exercises were you doing?
Just, you know,
Tongue
twisting it, turning it,
exercises. Wow.
stretching it, you know, licking the alphabet, all the things that came in handy when I was in college.
I
So,
always suspected this, but I didn't know until now.
No, it's
Natural
true.
talent.
Makes sense.
Natural
oh
talent.
yeah, it was a
Uh-huh.
talent, and you know, I was a
You too can have Gene Simmons' tongue in
I
5
was
easy
a-
steps.
Grab the end and start tugging.
yeah, lick the alphabet and become a cunning
That's
linguist.
dedication,
You know?
man. Never heard that one before.
Oh,
Yeah,
boy.
see, you learn something new from Montag, right? Yes.
That's a whole nother
Montag,
level
what were
of,
you like in
fandom.
high school? Were you
Oh,
a
I
good
was
boy,
worse
bad
than
boy?
Dreadbull. I wasn't nearly as cool as Dreadbull. You know, I had a few friends, and I wasn't. We had a couple cliques in our high school. We had the jocks, and we had the preps, and we had the Valley girls, and we had like the pretty people who were popular. I wasn't in any of those. So I had like 3 or 4 friends. And we would get together on weekends and go play Commodore 64 games and swap games and burn discs. And I'd hang out with Dreadbull. I mean, we've been friends for over 40 years, and we would play D&D and stuff like that. So that was
all the cool stuff. That
all the
kids do
all the
back
stuff
then,
you mean,
know?
yeah, all the cool stuff like that. So yeah, Dread and I were pretty tight in high school. You know.
Love it. So Montag, what do you think is the weirdest thing that Chop Top has did when he's alone?
Oh, when he's alone?
Yeah.
How much time do you have?
Hey,
Um,
I'll edit
well,
what I need to.
when he's alone. Wow, that's a good question.
nobody knows. What I do.
Yeah, I'm sure it involves watching Disney films and a box of Kleenex, but I'm not sure which one.
Ooh.
Probably Frozen.
Yeah, Elsa for
What
sure.
kind of Kleenex
Yeah.
too? Like the Vicks Vapo Rub ones?
Well, if only for an extra thrill, you know. Yeah, that's
That
what I think.
burning
That's,
sensation.
yeah,
right?
I think he.
Minty freshness.
I'm burning, baby, and burning for you. I think he took that personally and seriously. So, you know, I always wondered why he had those VHS collections of Disney movies. They were always worn out. Now it all makes sense.
All right, you
Yeah.
guys ready? When the crowds are gone. This is Wildcard.
Oh, nice.
I don't know where the years are gone. Memories can only last so long.
It's wild we got more than one Sabotage pick. Look at that.
That's
I know.
awesome.
Wildcard.
Why do you love that song, Wildcard?
I mean, I've always thought, I don't know, it's always resonated with me since I bought the CD. It speaks to struggle, and I don't know, it's one of those songs that can really drudge up some emotion, but I think more than anything that was one of my buddy's favorite songs. He wanted that song played at his funeral, and he passed away in 2019. We weren't able to make that happen, probably because the funeral director, the funeral place, the parlor was, this is heavy metal music. We can't. They tried to pull some shit about how they couldn't get their CD player to work, and it infuriated me and his brother. We ended up going to his grave on his birthday, and we took a boom box with, powered by like 4 D-cell batteries, and we played it. And it was incredibly emotional. It was really hard. So that song now probably carries more weight than it did when I first fell in love with it. It's lyrically, it's great. I mean, Sabotage, they're good at what they do, and they're not just writing mindless, just riffs and whatnot. Everything's pretty articulate, and lyrically, that song's very haunting. For anyone, if you care to listen and dissect it, you can probably apply it to some aspect of your life. But that song, yeah, it carries a lot of weight, especially now, post 2019. So
I love that about music, and I'm sure you guys would all agree. There is just certain song. I love music, just brings you in different emotion.
yeah.
But if there is a song that can trigger like a sad emotion, it's like every single time you hear it, you're like, okay, you got to turn this song off. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole right now. Turn the song off. So is there any songs out there? Obviously there is, but who has, what song do you think that if you hear it, you're just like, you got to turn this song off. I hate it. I never want to hear that song. Please never play that song. Do you have one of those songs?
I have an entire album of that. That same guy, we did a record together, and he never even got to see it, when it was done. It's difficult for me to listen to that because his voice is on it, so I wrote all those songs, and I struggle to this day to listen to it because of that, so. And that's not just that. I mean, there's a lot of songs like that where it's like, I've said this in interviews before, where I'm a big fan of like solo piano music, which seems really bizarre, but like Helen Jane Long and Scott Davis, and that stuff. When I put that stuff on, it can easily just make me like, nope, I can't listen to this right now, because the melodies can absolutely make me feel sad. It's like it's wonder and sad. It can go either direction. Just depends on what mood I'm in that day. So absolutely, those songs exist. Albums exist in my own personal collection, as I'm sure it does for the rest of the guys.
I do too. Yeah, I agree. Is there any song out there that you absolutely hate that you do not want to ever listen to?
The Rose.
I got quite a few.
Rose.
Yeah. One of my cousins would sing that at every wedding, every family wedding. She would sing that.
Are you talking about Seal?
No. That's Kiss from the Rose. No, I'm talking about Bette Midler.
Okay. I wanted to make sure I got my roses straightened out.
Yeah.
It's just atrocious in every way, shape, or form. And then hearing it at every fucking wedding, it's like, kill me now.
Singing Telegram. No, we know what's coming for your birthday.
Yeah, that's right.
Good idea.
That's right.
Who else has a
singing
song?
The Rose.
Who else has
the whole Load album for me, Metallica.
Oh, come on, man.
No. Now hear me out. That house that Jack built in particular, that song, but that whole album, that was during a time when I was going through a divorce. So
you're sad. Okay, you're being sad about it.
There was tons of bad shit going on at the time, and that album takes me back to that time and all those feelings and stuff. And I'm not I don't dislike the album, but it definitely reminds me of that era in my life. Those were some dark days, so I don't go back to that album very often, to be honest.
Yeah.
Too bad it wasn't Saint Anger.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, you know, I've got a whole list of songs, but let's start with Pour Some Sugar on Me. I just never need to hear that god awful fucking song as long as I live, because radio killed it, number one, video killed it. And it's all you hear in classic rock stations, at least here in the States. And, you know, another one I'd add, Whitesnake's Here I Go Again. Love Whitesnake, huge Whitesnake fan. But Here I Go Again is another one of those fuckers that I just don't ever need to
MMS
hear in my
killed
life.
Zeppelin for me, man. Like every time you turn on MMS and it was the same playlist and it was always like 5 Led Zeppelin songs. And it's like, I like them again now because I stopped listening to MMS for years.
Right.
You know, so you get away from radio and it saves a lot of those songs because they're good songs, but yeah, I get it.
Yeah, they have a bigger catalog. Can we just play something other than those 5 fucking
Or like
songs?
Paradise City, you know, Guns N' Roses. Paradise City or Sweet Child of Mine.
Oh,
I
Jesus,
love that you
yes.
said Pour Some Sugar on Me, because obviously growing up in that era, we loved that song and sing to it. And probably like 15 years ago, we had a karaoke on the TV. And maybe I was singing the lyrics wrong or not really paying attention to the lyrics. But after I did karaoke to that song, I'm like, I can't ever fucking sing this song again. Are you kidding me? This is what I've been singing for 15 years. Like,
You got
this
the
is
peaches.
actually the lyrics of the song.
We
and
got the
it
cream.
and it made money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with the Pour Some Sugar on Me for sure. Because I was just like, oh my God, that's a lot. Okay, Dreadbull, you're up, my friend.
All right.
It's Metallica.
Yeah, Welcome Home Sanitarium. Yeah, this song, so this is another, so my list is mostly consists of like songs that kind of drew me into certain genres of heavy metal. You know, not there's not so much sentimentality. Maybe I'm not that sentimental, but it's more of nostalgia and things that kind of the first song that drew me into certain aspects of metal. So I was listening to some metal at this time, you know, Maiden and Dio and Judas Priest and all that stuff. But like at that time, Metallica were into like Master of Puppets was where they were at in their with their music, and so they were still a very heavy band at that point. And to me, they were there. You know, at that point was still maybe they weren't as heavy as Slayer, but it was part of the heavier metal.
Yeah.
You know, heavier than Maiden and the stuff that I was starting to listen to at the time. So, but there was a lot of hype around Master of Puppets. People seemed to love it. So I think I got a cassette. I think I joined one of those like
Columbia
those,
House?
Yeah, Columbia House. You know, you get like 20 cassettes for
Yeah,
a penny
man.
or something.
For a penny, yeah.
Yeah, so that was one of the cassettes that I
Stick it to the
that I
man,
chose,
Dreadbull.
like hell yeah, I'll spend a penny for that. Feeling adventurous one day, popped that in, and like it really started to grow on me. And some of the like this song in particular, because it was a little more accessible. You know, it started off kind of slow and really built, and you know, Battery was pretty damn heavy at the time. So, but this and like Leper Messiah and those songs really drew me in. I'm like, wow, this is really good. So yeah, my metal taste sort of expanded here with this particular song and that album.
Are you still single? Like you went through a divorce a little while ago? Or
No,
are you
remarried.
Been, okay.
Yeah, been married 21 years now. So
Oh wow. So that was
this one's going a lot better. Yeah, way back.
What did you do differently in this one than you didn't do in the other one?
Married a different person.
Is anybody single in here? You guys all married, kids?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm separated.
Living the dream. Oh, Joe, look at the chop top down there.
Are you single?
No, I'm separated.
Oh, okay. Well, that's halfway there.
Yeah.
Living on a
Like Bon
prayer.
Jovi says. Yeah.
That's another one.
So
Yeah,
are you
don't-
guys attracted to the same sex? You ever dabbled in the
Well, I think we're all attracted to women if you mean the same sex that way.
No male experiences.
No.
Well, I don't know. Montag and
Although
his love of Gene Simmons knows no bounds. So,
I don't know.
It did until a
picture.
point.
Yeah.
well, there
That
was
stopped years ago. That's
Montag's
fucking
family
done.
picture really does it for me, you know. I mean, when he's trying to be
No,
Fabio.
no more love for Mr. Simmons.
Well, how many of you guys have sent dick pics out?
Nope.
Pictures?
I'm too afraid.
I did some nude modeling when I was in grad school. And I
Good Lord.
I think I've done
Here we
some
go
video
There's the
sometime.
story.
I'm not going to
No
share the
dick
picture.
pics.
Don't worry. No, I've done some video.
Oh,
Sure.
nobody wants to see a video. It's like we want to be able to delete that shit. We don't want to be like press play and we're like, what the fuck is this? No.
Hey, it's how I made
Yeah.
my
Don't
living.
start
50 cents.
spreading dick
50
pic
cents a time.
videos.
Yeah,
Not good things.
hey, you press play and you can watch Montag dance around like James Gunn. Oh,
wait,
I'd
fuck me. Yeah. Where do you think that came from?
You inspired that.
Exactly.
Montag wanted me to ask you guys, what's big dick energy?
They apparently
That's
have
Mr.
never heard
Wildcard.
this. Yeah, they apparently, these old timers around here, they haven't heard the term big dick energy. It's like when you walk into a room and you're like, fuck you, get out of my way. And you don't have to say nothing because you're emanating this big dick energy. It applies to women too. Don't be shy here. It's just a thing. It's just an attitude. Like, you know,
Well,
like
the
you're no
woman-
better than I am. So that's the big dick energy. It's
Women's
literally
case would
like
be-
an opposing magnet. People will move for you.
Wow.
Hey, in women's case, it'd be big clit energy. So
Yeah,
people-
yeah. They're fair enough. Fair enough.
yeah.
What is
let's not be
classified? Like,
sexist.
what is a big dick? How big?
Oh,
is a
it's got
big
nothing
dick?
to do with the actual size of your penis.
Oh.
It's just an attitude.
It's
The
an
energy
attitude.
of the big day.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a
right.
big dick energy then for sure.
Good.
Yeah, I'm proud of it.
tell.
Good.
Yeah.
Like
You
I
got the
think it's
swagger.
important. That's right.
Right. Exactly.
Like a cripple.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, how big is your dick energy then?
Yeah.
Pretty
you know.
big.
Did you send pictures out?
I've never
So
sent.
you're a
It's like an
BD.
aura. It's an aura.
There's no BDE
And
pics.
I'm actually quite insulted that I do not get any dick pics at all. Like the women that I interviewed, they get tons of dick pics. So I don't think.
I don't know. I don't think that I would be upset about that because it's probably more shit than there is.
Is that what you
not.
really want to see?
No, but like I feel like I'm out of the loop, right? I feel
Oh,
like
I see.
I'm not
You
in
just
the
want to be
dick pic club.
included in the
Yeah.
horror that is.
Like
the
I want to
dick
be
pic.
like, hey, listen, look at the dick pic I got today, and I don't
Yeah.
get any of that.
It takes a
Oh,
right
but-
angle. Like, how weird is that?
Yeah,
You know,
I
like
see.
you can.
So
Yeah, but then-
strange.
Then you get those ones that look like a cross between a German army helmet and an anteater. So, you know, you got to be careful.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's
Thank
more
you,
horror
Lynn.
stories in it than there's not.
Right.
Hey, Chop Top, this is you, my friend. It needs more cowbell for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, more cowbell. More cowbell. No, I love. I've always loved that song. I fell in love with it the first time I heard it. It's what honestly got me into BOC. I like a lot of Blue Oyster Cult, and yeah, it's fun to play too, guitar, and it's just that melody. It's haunting lyrically. The melodic lines of the guitar. It's just one of those that, man, it's kind of a reflective song. You can listen to that and kind of reflect on a lot of things in life. And yeah, I've always loved that song. So yeah, Don't Fear the Reaper is fantastic.
So you play guitar?
Yeah, I'm not as good as Wildcard, but I'm average. You know, and
Yeah.
I haven't been playing as much as I should. You know,
You can play Smoke on the Water.
And all the wrong. the
And
wrong
Wonderwall.
notes. Yeah, there you go.
Iron
What
Man.
what was your first song you ever played on guitar?
Oh, geez.
Clowns never laugh before.
Gosh, I've
Got to be
back-
something from Kiss. You know, something
No,
entry
actually,
level.
when I was getting lessons for about a few months from a different teacher, he had said, "Bring in anything you want on cassette or whatever." So I brought in, I think, Judas Priest on Defenders of the Faith. So he taught me how to play Love Bites
No. way.
just by ear, and I was like, "Wow!" And that really started when I got to college and stuff. I'd sit with a stack of CDs and I just whatever I hear by ear, and I'd put it, on a guitar, and that's how I started really playing a lot better and stuff. So
You ever play guitar for a girl to woo her?
Well, I don't know. Just maybe back in the day, I wouldn't say woo her.
Yeah,
just
no
to
one
get a
got wooed.
Get a one-nighter, you know. But
What was
Hey,
your
baby,
go-to one-nighter song? You're like, hey, I just there's my guitar.
Pour some sugar on me.
Cat scratch fever.
Yeah.
Scratch fever.
Here's the irony. I'd play "Right Ain't Talking About Love" by Van Halen.
Oh, wow.
Or acoustically. I played acoustically. I slowed it down, and I think it sounds really cool. So.
And
yeah.
the irony is
You're just
she
talking
really
about
did
lust.
have a disease. So that's why we do this distance. That's why we're not in the same room with Chop.
Wildcard, I
Oh,
am
man.
curious to know what song you played for girls to woo
Yeah.
them.
I
Oh, there
play
was
guitar,
there was no playing
Oh, I thought you said
guitar for
Montag.
girls. Yeah, no, it was just I played guitar, and that was probably more damaging to me getting action than anything. But yeah, there was never any wooing.
The
The hair
BDE
did,
took care of
the hair
that.
did more wooing. That the hair was more of an attractive than the fact that I actually played, because I'm not a lead player. I'm just a rhythm player. So
Yeah, it
You're
would
the
be
Paul
the look.
Stanley.
yeah. How'd you like orange juice?
All right. Yeah, there you go.
Montag, you're up. All but one had Iron Maiden on their playlist, just for you know.
We're all cool.
I mean,
This
The
was
Mighty
the second coming for me of like, oh,
Oh,
my
boy.
God, what is this music? I had a stereo. This is how I heard this album, Peace of Mind. I had a stereo that had a dual cassette deck, and my friends who had cassettes knew that I had that, and they would like, hey, can you make a copy? They would bring me the cassette and blank tapes, and I was just making copies for people. And
Wow,
Mickey
bootlegger,
copy.
look at it over here.
And then I heard this one. I'm like, oh, what the fuck? I'd never heard a drum intro like that. And these heavy power chords. I'm like, and I looked at the lyrics like, oh my God, they're telling stories about history and mythology. And like, Dune, that's my favorite book. Oh my God. So this was the song that introduced me to Iron Maiden, that made me a Maiden fan for life. And kind of just changed my life in a way, you know, that hearing that heavy Iron Maiden riff just kind of opened up the floodgates in a way that, you know, Kiss comparatively was, you know, a poppy or rock sound. This was true metal for me, you know. So yeah, Maiden.
Have you ever seen them in concert?
Oh God, yeah. I actually have met them a couple times. Yeah, my friend Aaron, his uncle was the live sound engineer, Doug Hall. So yeah, I got to meet him a few times. And then Chop Top and Dreadbull and I got to talk with Bruce and Adrian when they toured on Bruce's solo tour in Cleveland. We all got to talk to them and hang out with them.
That's
and I
cool.
asked Bruce Dickinson what happened to Maiden after Seventh Son. I go, what happened, Bruce? And he said, well, it was kind
Bruce,
of a sinking
Bruce.
ship. He said, yeah, some people in the band, he wouldn't name names, wanted to do more of a classic rock sound, and he knew that it was time to get out. So
Paris.
he left. Yeah, he didn't name names. I'm not going to name names. I'm not going to name names. We might get Steve Harris on the show, Mark.
They're really cool.
Okay, edit that part out then, just in case.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mr. Harris.
Iron Maiden was my first concert at 14. They were my very first concert.
Oh,
Really?
nice.
So
And
like 10 years
Eddie-
ago, about 10 years ago? Is that?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, the Matter of Life and Death tour.
And Eddie actually fell on the drummer there, and they had to blow the crowd out for. It was like a gong show. It was like
Oh,
it was
wow.
crazy. It's my dad trying to make up for lost time. Decides to take smokes are in the right there. If you want to drink, go ahead. I'm like 14, meeting my dad for the first time, and we're going to Iron Maiden. I'm like, this guy's fucking awesome,
Nice.
right? What was
Which
your
would-
first concert?
Mine?
Yeah.
Oh, it was probably something horrible like Petra, you know, Christian rock band in the
Not
early in the
that bad.
80s. No, just an embarrassing time for me, you know, being in the church and being in Pentecostal. But my first like real concert was Iron Maiden on the that was on the Somewhere in Time tour, 1986. Yeah, that just blew my mind. That was amazing.
Dreadbull, what was your first concert?
I'm thinking Maiden as well. I think that following year, the Seventh Son, was that the
88, yeah.
first? That might have
Yeah.
been my first concert.
When I knocked
My
you over,
first like real. Yeah, you
grab the
bastard.
wristband. Adrian
Got Dave Murray's wristband.
Dave
and
Murray's, yeah.
gave me a concussion.
Yeah,
So, there you go.
it's worth it.
I'll never forget that show. Those two stone guys next to us. They stared at the floor and played air guitar the entire concert. They never once looked up.
No, and the one guy like threw
They're
up.
just smiling and playing air
Yeah.
guitar.
They were so drunk and high, before, like during the opening acts. By the time Maiden come on, they're just like hunched over, like, oh. I'm like, dude, you're missing the whole fucking show right here, man. That was awesome. Great show.
Wildcard, you're up. Yeah, Seek and Destroy, Metallica. Good album.
Good riff.
Yeah, that was the first song that kind of took me to a different plateau playing wise. So that song's always going to have that kind of connection with me, going from playing like Smoke on the Water and Iron Man and Cat Scratch Fever. Those were the first songs that I learned how to play. And that was the first time I played riffs. Like, I'm not talking chords, like I'm talking riffs. And when I was able to play that all the way through, that was the next level for me in my playing. And I'll never forget that, when I printed out the tabs, and I learned the song all the way through. And that was a big moment in my career. So that song will always have that kind of meaning to me. It's not by any means my favorite Metallica song, but that was the first one that I learned how to play. And again, that set me on a certain path in terms of writing and recording. It kind of helped to nurture that direction.
I love it. So you have so much vinyl behind you. I'm curious to see.
Oh, this is all CDs. The vinyl's off screen. Yeah, the vinyl's off screen. I can never get everything in the same pic, but yeah.
He's got big.
Well, please, because I didn't mean to cut you off. Please continue.
Whoa! You're loud. Wow.
Whoa, you got loud.
You got
Did
loud.
I get loud? Am I too loud now?
Yes.
I'm not.
You
Ghost,
got
man.
energy.
BDE. Your microphone's got BDE, man.
Trying to seduce me with his voice. He's trying to seduce me
There
with
you go.
his voice.
Like the teacher in Charlie Brown.
What was the first vinyl that you were super excited to go buy? Got some money.
Nope. Now we can't hear you, man.
Guys,
Now
you're
he's giving
killing
us the
me.
silent treatment.
Are you guys, can you hear me now?
A little bit
Yeah,
louder.
A little bit,
A little bit
louder.
more. Keep going.
I don't know what's going on with this
And a little
rig.
bit louder now. And a little
Definitely
bit
goes.
louder.
Is that good? Is that good?
That's
Little bit-
decent.
A little
We
bit
good?
louder. We can.
We good? We good? Check. We good?
Okay, yeah.
It's
All
like
right.
this.
Geez, I don't know what the hell was going on there. I didn't do anything. But the first vinyl, vinyl records, vinyl took me a little while to get into. When I started collecting them, they weren't cool again yet. So I was able to access some pretty great shit for freakishly cheap. I think one of the first ones I was actually excited to buy, I went into the local record store and they had the Megaforce pressing of Kill 'Em All and the Creeping Death single. I suppose it would be a 12-inch single or it was an EP. I can't remember. They had them both for like, I don't know, $20, and which was kind of expensive at the time because again, vinyl wasn't super cool yet. And I haggled with them. I was like, you guys come down on those? And they're like, fine, if you buy both of them, we'll sell them to you for $12 a piece. They're worth so much more than that now. But it was cool, man, because it was like back then I was just about getting them for the art. I wasn't really even playing them. I don't even think I had a record player yet. But I was still grabbing records that I couldn't find on CD, or I just really loved the art. For a while, I'd display them in like record, the record displays you could get. They damaged the records, so I quit doing that after a while when I realized that the weird metal things in the back were actually pressing on the sleeve itself. But yeah, I think it's probably the Kill 'Em All and the Creeping Death. That was super cool to me. The Megaforce pressing, especially because it says "bang the head that does not bang" on the back. You don't get that with the Electra reissue. So there's that.
So have you toured all over the U.S. with different bands, or?
Yeah, the U.S. The only place I really haven't hit in the U.S. was probably never really got into the South past Georgia. We've played the Montreal. We've played. We went up the East Coast to Canada.
Yeah.
a few dates. So
What's your band
Ottawa,
called?
Vindicator,
Okay.
and Toronto.
Yeah.
Never made it up the west side of Canada. I always wanted to. But yeah, most of the US we've had under our belt, but we never got off of this continent. You know, we were never able to make it to Europe. So
What's been your best audience so far?
we played a festival in LA called Thrasho de Mayo, and there was, you know, several hundred rabid fans in there. They weren't just standing and watching the show. Like we had one of the biggest pits of the night. Kids were getting on stage and stage diving. Kids knew all the words to our songs, which is, you know, that's an experience, you know, when they're singing along with you, you can just put a mic down in front of them and they know the lines. Like that's nothing we ever got to experience anywhere else in the US. I mean, some people would know words and stuff, but I mean, like that was a different energy in that particular crowd. You always get, you know, the first time we played California, there were just people in shadows with their arms crossed. You know, we didn't have anybody. But like after that, we were treated way better. See, it's like you had to prove yourself the first time, and then you come back, and then people are going to know. So the energy in that state was always real high. But I'll never forget that Thrasho de Mayo show because it was the biggest audience we'd played to, and certainly the most energetic by far.
Do you have you played with somebody that you admired before, and then you?
Oh, absolutely. We've gotten open for Artillery. You know, we've opened for Destruction. We've opened for Creator. And I mean, when I say that, I'm not saying direct support, you know, like a lot of these bills in Cleveland would be 500 opening acts. So we might fall somewhere, you know, 5 to 6 bands before the touring package, which has 5 to 6 bands. But some bands we did, we were direct support to Hellstar. That was awesome. You know, we've played with a lot. I mean, I've played with a lot of people that I look up to, you know, and been able to interact with them, which is really great. You know, we never got to we toured with Vicious Rumors and Seven Witches. That was pretty fun. That was pretty cool. But yeah, most of those people were people that, you know, we looked up to as players, or, you know, it was really interesting for us to get to meet and mingle with those individuals. So lots of them.
Do you have any rituals before you get on stage?
I used to do all kinds of weird shit, like put a penny in one of my shoes. That used to be a thing that I did. Like, I got this penny and I'm going to put it in my shoe, and then I'm going to have this particular coin in this pocket. I used to do all this weird stuff. And guess what? It never fucking helped me. So I quit doing it. But I do eat a banana before I play.
Oh,
For
You make eye contact when you eat it?
Big banana energy.
Yes.
Yeah.
I make sure I don't blink, and whoever's next to me is just stuffing half the thing in my mouth. But
Big
no,
banana.
the potassium helps you not cramp. So, you know, you stretch,
Right.
you do all that kind of stuff, you know, and I don't really do any types of warm-ups other than like maybe I'll shout a little bit to loosen my vocal cords a touch. But, you know, aside from real basic stuff that most people do, there's no real cool pre-show rituals. I quit doing them all because, like I said, they never worked out.
Can you show us some stretches?
Yeah, show us some stretches.
It's just you bend over and touch your toes, and then you pull your leg. I'm not a pro at this stuff, so it looks real awkward. You know, you do the pull on your foot one, and you know those ones. That's all the basic ones that you see when you watch any type of
Bon Jovi
80.
Dead or Alive, like that video. All the pre-show warm up. Okay.
Yeah, maybe some push-ups. You know, people do some push-ups. Got to yoke up your muscles, look stronger than you are.
Some Axe spray, whatever you need to do, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Montag has never done any of these things that you speak of.
I've not needed to.
No, he just grew his tongue longer. That's
right.
Yeah.
Right.
He worked that tongue.
I did a lot of exercises back
Yes.
in college.
I walked the walk and I licked the lick.
Exercise his tongue and his wrist.
Yeah.
It's a good Friday night, really.
Exactly. What more do you need?
That's right.
That's right.
I got a
Cheap
bunch
date.
of clean socks. I'm ready to go.
Dreadbull, you're up. Pull me under.
Hold Me Under, Dream Theater. So yeah, very much like Sanitarium with Metallica was. This was another song that kind of opened my eyes to a new genre, a new type of metal. Like this whole album, Images and Words, was really like it had these sort of Metallica riffs, but everything was very, even that clip you played, like the guitar sounds were kind of ethereal, little echoey, you know, and there was a refinement to their sound that I hadn't heard in metal, you know, along with like these really chunky riffs. They had this refined sound, and it was so complex, and there were all these little details going on, and I'm like, man, you know, along with those good heavy riffs, and it was such a cool combination of styles, and it really grabbed my attention right off the bat. And man, Dream Theater has gone on to become my favorite band of all time. Absolutely love those guys, and yeah, this song was a definite eye opener when I first heard it. Like, woo, I gotta find out more about this.
So you and Montag have known each other for how long? Like 20 years? 20, 30
40,
years?
over 40. I was 8 years old, I think, when our dads worked together.
Yeah,
at
it's
the
be
Ford
45
plant.
years. 45 years this year.
So do you have an embarrassing story that you could share about him?
Oh boy.
Hmm.
Oh boy. There's got
This
to
might be a
some.
two-parter. And then you got time?
Embarrassing story. Embarrassing story.
It's choosing the right one. That's the hard
Yeah,
part.
I mean, we've got some funny things. You know, this trip we took to Canada was full of hijinks. That was a lot of fun. Man, I'm trying to think. Like, it's hard to embarrass Montag. Like he's
Or
almost
just something
immune
funny that
to
maybe
embarrassment.
he would
Yeah,
like
well,
to forget.
I broke your bed.
Our parents like to take. Yeah, I remember you were telling me about the your first Maiden concert somewhere in time. I didn't go to that one, but you were so excited the next day. You came over, and you were telling me about it. And like my bedroom has very low ceilings, and he was telling me about the intro and then like the explosions at the beginning. And he jumped up to emphasize the explosions and just smashed his head on the ceiling of my bedroom.
Yeah.
I do remember you
Real
spent
cool,
the night.
Montag.
You spent the
Yeah.
night that one time, and you were talking in your sleep, and you were
Oh.
yelling. You were yelling, "The blob is coming! The blob is coming!" That was interesting. Yeah, you were dreaming about the blob. So
That's fantastic.
But yeah, our trip to Canada, our parents love to take vacations together, the families. And yeah, we went to Canada one time. We were going to get these cabins on a lake way up there. And was it up in around Toronto, north of Toronto?
Yeah, it was on Lake Havelock, Ontario. Right.
We got there, and yeah, we knew it was bad when they checked in at the main house that was, you know, the owners, and the house was just full of chickens running in and out. Like there were chickens everywhere, in the house, out of the house. We went on to the cabin, and it was just this shack with like the rooms were exactly the size of the beds. Montag and I had to share one. He stretched the one morning and put his foot through the wall. There were cows looking in the windows when we woke up in the morning.
In the
It was
morning,
most
there was a big
unbelievable thing.
cow pasture. Right.
Yeah. There were no ceilings on any of the bedrooms. The bathrooms sat at a slant. You had to kind of sit on the toilet like this to keep from falling off.
No running
It
water.
was the craziest.
The
No,
water.
yeah, no running water.
Buckets
You had
of
to bathe
water.
in the lake.
Yeah.
Sounds like a
Jenny
good
and Carol.
business.
Yeah, the neighbors had this two wackiest little daughters that were they jumped on Montag's dad when he was sleeping in the hammock. Didn't they jump on his back when he was
Yes.
trying to sleep
Yeah.
in a hammock?
Yeah. And they
did
also,
not like that.
Jenny and Carol, they're from Milwaukee.
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee. That's how I talk. We're from Milwaukee. The one looked like Pippi Longstocking. And I remember the one time where they
So
morning, like
obnoxious.
they jumped and they jumped on the back of one of the cows, and she was sitting on the cow, like trying to kick it to goad it into moving. She's like, "I won't run." And then the cow like bucked her off, and she fell and hit her head. And then she ran away crying. And well, then their dad, oh my God, remember he just sat in the boat. The boat was docked onto the pier, and he just sat there. And one morning, like revving the engine, like
Just holding it wide open. Smoke
just wide
pouring
open,
out.
not going anywhere, just churning water.
How they do it in Milwaukee.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. And then which one of them came up? They were swimming, and we were out there. We were out in the lake, and they were swimming around like underneath the water, like between our legs and stuff. Like, oh fuck. And then the one came up out of the water, and she had a frog sticking out of her mouth.
Big old
Like these
bullfrog
big
hanging
old
out of her mouth.
bullfrog hanging out of her mouth. We're like, get that frog out of your mouth, Jesus!
Yeah, we
Christ,
kind of
that's
made it into a little pet. We were feeding it and stuff. This big bullfrog. Yeah. So yeah, that was a fun time. But
That
those
was
were good times.
That's a good story.
That's awesome.
So we've
Wow, man.
Top, you're up, my friend. speaking of some Great White, right?
Yeah. I was a big fan, growing up of, it's one of the hair metal bands, I guess you could say, that I really had a more towards a liking towards, just because I loved a lot of their melodies. Jack Russell, fantastic singer. Mark Kendall is one of the most underrated guitar players in rock, period. And I like the blues a lot too. So, that was a perfect storm, perfect combination. Actually, it's probably my favorite Great White song of all time. And it's just one of those songs that it's haunting, and it's very, again, I go back to, it's one of those you can sit and you can kind of reflect on things. And yeah, I love that song to this day. I can't get enough of it. So, and like I said, just Mark Kendall's, his soloing, his bluesy licks throughout, that melody. Yeah, just love it.
I love it. So would he be your favorite 80s hair band? You could be like him for a day.
Oh, if I could bet him for the day, back in the day, that'd be great. He definitely had more hair than I do. So, but yeah, I mean, I had so many favorites, in that era. We all did. It was a great time for music as far as the 80s, metal and in general. And yeah, man, I don't, if I had to have a favorite hair metal band, I don't know. I like Cinderella. I like Skid Row.
Yes.
I like Whitesnake,
Yeah.
Great White. Boy, you name it. So not really Warrant and stuff like that. I was a little too like, yeah. But
No Poison?
You weren't a down boy?
Dude, Janie
Put it
Lane
down,
wrote some
boys,
good songs,
so,
man.
yeah.
Yeah.
Janie Lane wrote some good songs, man.
He
Uncle
did,
Tom's
he did.
Cabin is
Uncle Tom's Cabin is
ridiculously
a ripper.
good.
That rocks, man.
That's my favorite
Cherry
Warrant song.
Pie.
Wildcard, yeah.
Cherry Pie.
Cherry
Pop,
He
pop,
Pie.
even
is there-
hated that song.
Is there a song, if you could hear for the rest of your life, what song would that be?
Oh boy. Ugh. I don't know. I guess one that always sticks to me. My mom was a huge Elvis Presley fan, and so that was another thing. And "Suspicious Minds" probably by Elvis Presley.
That's a good
I
one.
never tired of that song. Yeah.
So your parents were big into music as well.
Yeah, more so I think my dad was big into Beach Boys and Motown. So we had Motown playing too. And I love old Motown as well.
Mhm.
But Beach Boys was his favorite. I think my mom, she was a big Conway Twitty fan. I remember when she met him, and I want to show you a picture with him. So she got kissed on the cheek, and she was just, oh, I got the Twitty bird. I got
Swooning.
Twitty bird.
Nice.
I said, did he give you any tongue, Ma? No. But no, it was, but yeah, she was just so excited about that. And it's just one of the great memories, of that time. So
If you could switch lives with any one of these guys in the room, just for a day, who would you switch lives with?
oh God, do I have to choose between them?
Yeah,
Um,
you do.
No,
This is your pool of options right here.
no.
Good
I'd have
luck
to
with that.
go-
Hello from the gutter.
Oh man, that's a tough one. I'd have to maybe go with Wildcard just because of his massive CD and vinyl collection, and just because
BDE.
yeah, his BDE, fuck you kind of attitude, and then obviously his talent, writing and playing. He's got so
Well,
many
that's
projects.
debatable.
You would sell his collection. He'd come back the next day. Where the fuck's all my stuff?
Where's all my shit?
Wait a minute.
Be a wise move.
I just bought a house.
I think second though, I would switch though. Secondly though, if I had to switch to somebody else, it would be Montag. Well, just because he's very creative, he's a very good writer, he's a very good friend to anybody who knows him, and he has the same love and affinity to the things that we do that got us starting our whole show, Heavy Metal Horror. So
There you go, Dreadbull. You're not even in
Yeah,
the.
I don't have much to offer.
That's true.
I got nothing. I live a hollow, empty life.
I see you got some books behind you.
It's
So
devoid
I
of
would have changed
meaning.
my mind. But you didn't listen to Chris, so.
Hey, Montag,
There's
you're
no
up.
meaning or purpose. Okay.
Turn this one up. It's a slow start. It's a slow sound. Some Rush.
Nostalgia.
Rush.
Nice.
Rush. Yeah, I love that song. Rush is my favorite band. And I remember that was like one of the first albums. Moving Pictures was one of the first albums I had bought for myself with like my own money. And I was a drummer in high school, junior high band, and it was like the band that all the drummers listened to. And I remember when I first heard them, I'm like, oh God, this is music I'd never like. This is amazing. So I went out and bought that record, and Red Barchetta just quickly became my favorite track on that album. I couldn't listen to it enough, as Dreadbull will attest. Many Friday nights playing Commodore 64,
Yes.
listening to this album side over and over again.
Yeah.
There's just I love the story aspect to it, this science fiction story. And Neil Peart was who as a drummer, I don't know if idolize is the right word, because when I became aware of how he didn't like that, I just great honor and respect. And I would listen to, I was a self-taught drummer, so I listened to Rush. I listened to this album in particular and taught myself how to play drums to this album, and could get most of the licks. There's a few I still can't get, but this album was really special. And that song of all just kind of had this magical quality to it, with the story aspect, the guitars, the drums. And this was my absolute favorite one to play on the whole album. So yeah, it's like Dreadbull says, this is nostalgia of the purest kind. And I just love that song, love this band.
Love it. So would you say you're the most creative one on the show?
Obviously. No. I don't know. I think we're all creative in our own ways. I mean, I know Dreadbull, we're both creative. Dreadbull was a really good artist, and he's really creative in ways like we played Dungeons and Dragons and those kinds of things, and he was always creating worlds and stories and those kinds of things. And Wildcard, obviously, he's musically talented and writes songs, and Chop Top is also a writer and a musician. But I don't know if I'm like the most creative, but
I was just going to give you a test. That's all. I was just going to give you a test. So these guys are all strippers. So I need you to give them their stripper names.
Well, Chop Top is the sausage, hands down. So Dreadbull's the mullet.
Best one.
Dreadbull's the mullet.
Well,
he's party in the back. Dreadbull's party in the back. He's business up front, though. And Vic, I think he's Goldilocks. Yeah. I think he's going to be stripping, and I think the three bears are going to want to take him home.
Someone's been laying in my bed, and there he is now.
Ooh, would you like to taste my porridge? Yes, exactly.
Oh my God, I love it. Okay, Wildcard, you're up. All right, the tones. I love it.
So that's my grandpa playing that guitar, and it was a long time before I actually got to hear the song. I'd always known that my grandpa was a performer. My dad would tell me that, and so that song, again, Jet Tone Boogie's probably not my favorite song ever, but it holds, again, a very special song to me because that's my grandfather playing that song. So I think anybody that's in a similar situation where, mom or dad or grandma and grandpa or somebody is a musician, I think that the music that they've created will always be special to the individual. But that's kind of, and why that one outweighs maybe what my own father's done is because it starts there for this particular lineage. So that's kind of the beginning of this family's venture into writing rock and roll and heavy music. That's the root right there. That's what started it, was that particular song. So that means a lot to me. And it probably mean a lot to my kids too. So.
Are you teaching your kids to play an instrument at all yet?
Not really. I mean, my dad didn't really teach me. Like, he showed me like 3 chords, and that's, and it was the chords to play Smoke on the Water and Cat Scratch Fever and any song that sounds like those songs. And, my dad was like, you can learn these 3 chords, you can play any song. And that wasn't true at all. But I learned those 3 chords, and then I learned how to play Metallica, and then I just learned how to do stuff. So it kind of worked out like that. I mean, I don't know. I don't consider myself a very good teacher, so I suppose if my kids wanted to learn how to play, they would probably learn in a similar fashion where you just learn by ear, and you watch videos. Now there's way more access to watching videos and learning stuff than there was even when I was a kid. We had tabs. We were fortunate enough to just be able to print off tablature, whereas a lot of people had to buy the books to learn how to play that stuff. So it'll probably be something similar. It may come to them naturally, and I encourage like natural growth because it's going to make their sound unique from my own, as my sound is unique from my own father's. So
What's one thing that your kids have taught you?
not to have kids.
How many kids do you have?
I got two. I got a boy
That
and
he
a
knows
girl.
of.
Yeah. I wish I were some sketchy back alley guy, but no, I only got two kids. Thankfully, only two, or I would already be in the ground myself. They're maddening, but yeah, it's been a real, it's a treat watching them though, and listening to them, even create their own songs. When they started making their own soundtracks when they were playing, that was a special moment the day that I realized that was a thing happening, because I can remember vividly being a kid and making like adventure soundtracks when I'm playing with my G.I. Joes. You got to have a cool song, to fill in the empty space. And when they started doing it themselves, I was like, look at that. So it's kids are special, but yeah, they're a pain in the ass.
I love it.
Anyone that has kids will agree with me. I know they will.
Mhm.
Yeah. How old are your guys' kids?
Mine are 8 and 6.
Okay,
Mine are 29 and 26.
Mine is 28, 26, and 22.
oh wow.
29 and 26.
Yeah, mine are 24 and 26. Right. So you're just starting Wildcard. You got nothing to complain about.
Yep, and
Yeah.
I'm ending too. We're done with this game.
The
No more
pain
of
in the ass
those.
stop
Did you get
doesn't
the
stop,
snip?
man.
Did you
Yeah,
get the
that's
snip?
coming soon. The snips are coming soon.
Yeah.
It's been,
Oh,
gotta
You'll
get
enjoy
that,
that.
taken care of. I won't
Get
enjoy
the
that.
bags of frozen peas, my friend. They will be yours.
If they
compadre
don't knock
for
me
days.
out, I'm gonna cry until they
they
knock
don't
me
knock
out.
you
'Cause
out.
Oh,
You
I know
sit in
that's
there.
what I
won't.
hear.
You can get knocked out. That's what I was, but then I woke up too soon before they were done. That is what you want to worry about. You do not want to wake up feeling,
no.
I
what are
did
you
not
doing?
get knocked out.
Yanking, quit yanking.
No
Yeah.
coffee.
You don't want that.
Top, you're up. Again, more Maiden, right? More Maiden.
Maiden, absolutely. That is my all-time favorite band, Iron Maiden. And I remember Peace of Mind was the first album that actually introduced me to Maiden. And I played that relentlessly. And then I went back to their older stuff. But as they kept going on, obviously with Power Slave and Somewhere in Time and then the masterpiece Seventh Son, that song really, I don't know, out of all Maiden's catalog, the vast catalog, that song to me has just, I don't know, it just tugs at me for some reason. It's lyrically, the melody, the guitar work is fantastic. And it's probably like I said, I think I said earlier, my third or second favorite Maiden song of all time. So holds a big special meaning to me because they were such a big part of me growing up and introduced me to a whole new world of music. So
Yeah, I agree. I don't know if Montag sent you the podcast that I did with a great friend of mine for the last 10 years, and his garage is like all Maiden, every single poster you could ever imagine that was ever made. I don't think I've ever seen him in anything else but a Maiden shirt in 10 years. Like literally, I've known him for 10 years. Every single time we hang out lots, always Iron Maiden, Iron Maiden, Iron Maiden. But his garage is so cool because he's just the way he's kind of the man cave, but like all the walls are all done in Maiden, and it's
that's amazing.
he just
Yeah, that was my room in high
absolutely-
school.
Yeah,
It was all made in every tapestries, posters, you name it.
Mhm.
yeah.
No John Deere
have both.
posters, huh?
This is zero. No tractor implement posters.
So we're down to your last song, and I thought, Montag, you could take it home with this one. Are you ready, my friend?
I'm ready.
Okay, some D.
Yes, Dio. This song, it was the first Dio song that I'd ever heard, and I was just immediately pulled in and amazed at the power of this. Who is this guy, and how does he have so much power behind his voice and so much emotion? And those chords, it's just a simple riff, but it's just big and heavy. And this is nostalgic and also reminiscent of a time that when I first heard it, I was stuck in the throes of horrible Pentecostal religion and church, and this was like me trying to, that cognitive dissonance was working itself like mad. I'm like, no, you have to listen to Christian music. I'm like, I don't want to because it sucks. And this song really kind of was for me, like, yeah, this is the kind of music I want to listen to. So it's special in that way. But just because it was the first song I heard by Dio, I became an immediate fan. And I think we're all fans of Dio. We've talked about him, in our shows. Yeah. And so he's just probably my favorite vocalist of all time. And this song was the song that introduced me to this amazing man and his solo stuff. And then going back to listen to his Black Sabbath catalog, so yeah, it just started a lifelong love of Ronnie James Dio. So would really have loved to have met him sometime.
Yeah.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah, that would have been really awesome, actually.
Yes, totally.
Yeah. So I always like to leave on some words of wisdom. And I think because there's 4 of you, I think it just makes sense for each of you to give some words of wisdom. So Montag, I'm going to start with you. Everything that, Versity, your life, just some words of wisdom for those people that are listening.
Words of wisdom. Wow. Came to the wrong place for that.
Yeah.
I think for too long, I was not being true to myself. So living my best life and who I really was. So the unexamined life is not worth living. The unexamined faith is not worth believing. So I would say you got to know yourself. I really subscribe to the Maslow's hierarchy of needs and that idea of self-actualization. And that was a process that took me a long time to get through. But once you kind of get to know yourself and know who you are and what you believe, what you don't believe, then no one's going to take that from you. So that would be my words of wisdom.
Nice. Top, you're up.
Oh gosh, I'm not wise even for myself, but I'll throw one out here, I guess. I guess when in doubt, don't. I'll leave it at that.
Pull out.
Except when it's
I wish I would have told my younger self that. Yeah, but I think another way too, another word maybe leave it with is, hey, we all end up in ash or in the grave anyway. So live your life, live it the way you want to. To hell with it.
I like it.
Yeah.
Dreadbull.
Yeah, kind of along the lines of Montag. That was the first thing that kind of came to mind to me. It kind of made me think of, you mentioned us like being young and playing like D&D and all this stuff, and like, that was kind of one of those activities where you're kind of embarrassed of it. It was kind of a nerdy thing. You didn't want to really people to know about it, and like you're worried somebody might find out and make fun of you. Who cares? Just don't worry about that stuff. Do what you enjoy, what you love. Be you. First and foremost. And once you figure that out, you're going to be a better person to the people under you, and a more honest version of who you are, and that's going to help everyone around you a lot more. Don't be fake, and don't try to hide who you really are.
I love that. Wildcard.
Don't let your meatloaf.
just like that. Just like that.
Doesn't get more wise than that.
Short and sweet, just like your meat.
Yeah.
Well, thanks you guys so much for joining us on Music Junkies today. It was a blast. I had so much fun. I hope you guys had a good time as well. And obviously I'd love to do it again later on, pick some more new songs, right? We
had a great time. Thank you for having us.
This was awesome.
Yeah, this has been a great fun time. Yeah. Do you want to come on our show sometime?
Yeah, I do. That'd be so much fun.
Yeah, great. That would be
great.
And
I'll send you people, right? I interview people all the time that are in bands and stuff like that.
Cool.
Have some good connections. So
please,
if they are, all about metal and stuff, I know that I sent you Tim, which I think you guys really like.
Yeah, I just haven't had, I just haven't reached out to him. Schoolwork and stuff is crazy, and then I will. I mean, we're booked all the way into June, but if he's free after that, then yeah, it'd be great.
So I'm thinking that this will be out end of April, beginning of May. I left some spots open when we first booked because I figured it would be a good podcast to put out. So I just kind of left some spaces. So what I'll do is I'll let you know when it's out. Obviously, you guys, I'll send you the copy too, so you can cut and splice it however you want to do it too. So I don't care about that.
You just send me the finished, however you want to do it.
And then I
with
need
me.
some pictures of you guys because I like to promote for a week. So I need some fun, crazy pictures. And then if you guys, obviously, Wildcard, if you are touring anywhere or things come up, just like.
Oh, no, I'm too old for that now. We'll be fine.
You want to go play in a bar somewhere or something? You want people
I just want to go to bed at 8 and have a clean bathroom.
He's got its ailments too, just like the rest of us.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, guys, have an awesome Sunday. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Man.
you.
We have